Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, we're going to be taking an in-depth look into the 2017 Mercedes-Benz SLC300. In this review, we'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, and go over the performance data, take it on a thorough drive, and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start her up, and let her run. Along with a remote access smart key system, the SLC comes standard with push-button ignition. Just have the key fob within the interior, then simply put your foot on the brake and hit the silver button in the dash to go. This year, Mercedes-Benz is celebrating the 20th anniversary of the long-running SLK class. Originally introduced back in 1996, it was a pioneer not only for the brand, but for the segment as a whole, as the two-passenger Roadster, instead of having a retractable soft top, had a more advanced power-retracting hardtop for greater all-weather comfort. Despite the new nomenclature, which follows a methodology similar to the Mercedes SUV line, as I discussed in my review of the GLS, the SLC is basically a refreshed third-generation SLK that introduces new styling touches inside and out, a host of new features, and updated powertrains. The entire front section is new, characterized by a steeply raked diamond-patterned radiator grille. On the entry-level model, each of the 220 hexagonal pins are finished in black. With the AMG Sport package, the pins are finished in chrome. The dynamic full LED headlamps equipped here are an optional feature that's added with the Premium 2 package. Along with unique black housings, they combine adaptive corner illumination and automatic high beam assist. With the AMG Sport package, you also receive AMG-inspired body styling, including more aggressive front and rear fascias. For an extra $300 on top of the Sport package, you can opt for the Night package that adds a glossy black finish to the front air dam splitter, fender vent trim, rear diffuser, and side mirrors. As a big fan of Mercedes' newest styling language, I think the changes were very well executed. They really modernized the car without altering its character significantly. All of the classic Roadster proportions remain present and accounted for, such as the long hood, short rear deck, and rear set passenger compartment. The silhouette can still be likened to a miniature SL, especially with the gently rising beltline, muscular rear haunches, and the sweeping curve of the roofline. At the rear, updates include slimmer LED tail lamps with new inner workings, a more pronounced sculpted ducktail spoiler, and a restyled rear bumper that incorporates a black diffuser and dual polished bezels for the tailpipes. The retractable hardtop can now be operated at speeds of up to 25 miles per hour. But for greater convenience, if the trunk separator is in its upper position for extra cargo space, as long as there's nothing to impede it, it'll automatically move down when the roof is opened, eliminating the need to get out to open the trunk and move it down yourself. With the Premium 1 package and up, you can even raise and lower the top via the key fob. Currently, the SLC is available in two distinct models, the SLC300 and the SLC43 AMG. The latter replaces the SLK55 AMG. Pricing for the SLC300 starts at $48,885, including a $995 destination charge. With a handful of options that include colors and finishers, $2,500 for Magic Sky Control, $7,500 for the Premium 2 package, and the $2,475 AMG Sport package with the additional Night package, our tester retails for $63,795. On the entry model SLC300, staggered width 17-inch alloy wheels come standard. They're 7.5 inches wide in front and 8.5 inches wide in the rear, wrapped in two 25/45 and two 45/40 tires respectively. A handful of 18-inch wheel options are also available, including these multi-spoke AMG wheels with black inserts, exclusive to the Night package. The tires are the same width as the ones used for the 17-inch wheels, but feature a slightly lower profile. Based on the brake-in performance of the SLK350, the SLC300 should be able to stop from 60 miles an hour in less than 110 feet, thanks to four-wheel internally ventilated discs, including 12.7-inch rotors in front and 11.8-inch rotors in the rear. The electro-hydraulic rack and pinion steering is able to vary its ratio based on the steering angle and speed of travel, making low-speed maneuvers easier and more comfortable while increasing directional stability at higher speeds. The overall ratio is 15.5 to 1 and the turning circle is measured at 34.5 feet. The SLC's independent multi-link suspension consists of a 3-link front axle and a 5-link rear axle. Lateral stability is enhanced by front and rear hollow stabilizer bars. It's a sport-tuned setup with firmer springs and dampers, twin tube up front and monotube in the rear. Combined with a low ride height, the SLC delivers sharp handling, excellent roll stability, and good steering feel through the corners. If you step up to the Premium 3 package, adaptive dampers are added, which continuously adapt each wheel based on the current driving situation, firming up or relaxing as needed, on top of the adjustability you get with the car's selection of drive modes. The SLC300 is powered by a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder with dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, and variable valve timing. Fuel is delivered via direct injection, while the compression ratio is rated at 9.8 to 1. The block and head are both made from aluminum. It develops 241 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 273 pound-feet of torque between 1,300 and 4,000 RPM. Compared to the previously offered V6 and the SLK350, the 4-cylinder is down by 61 horsepower, but torque is identical, only developed sooner in the RPM range. This leads to a 0 to 60 time of 5.8 seconds and a top speed electronically limited to 130 miles per hour. If you look at the raw numbers, the SLC300 slots in between the SLK250 and 350 in terms of performance. If you've driven the 350, you probably won't notice much of a difference, especially with the addition of the new 9G Tronic 9-speed automatic transmission to replace the previous 7-speed, as well as a slightly lower curb weight compared to the SLK350 of 3,296 pounds. The difference mainly lies in having a smaller engine. In the real world, the SLC300 certainly feels like a fast little car. It's quick off the line and maintains a pretty flat torque curve for plenty of usable power when called upon. The transmission is both smooth and very quick to respond, almost dual clutch-like. There's a set of metal paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel for even more engagement. No manual transmission is currently offered. Also included is the Mercedes Dynamic Select system, which offers 5 different modes that you can use to tailor the behavior of the engine, transmission, and suspension if equipped with the optional adaptive dampers. The modes consist of Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, Eco, and Individual. As you toggle between the modes, visual confirmation shows up in the instrument cluster and the infotainment system. Individual mode allows you to fine-tune things to your liking. Also controlled through the drive modes is a standard Sport exhaust system, which opens and closes with respect to the mode. In Sport, the sound is throttle and RPM dependent, while Sport Plus opens it up fully. It's not quite as aggressive as an AMG performance exhaust, but it's a nice thing to have for sure. It sounds so good you'll want to leave the exhaust fully open all the time. As you might expect, the biggest difference with adopting this new powertrain is fuel economy. Where the V6 was rated between 20 miles per gallon in the city and 29 miles per gallon on the highway, the 4-cylinder is rated between 25 miles per gallon in the city and 32 miles per gallon on the highway. Expect an average of around 27 miles per gallon. A 15.9 gallon fuel tank is standard and premium fuel is required. So now let's go ahead and see how she sounds, both sitting still and on the road. With a greater focus on delivering a higher quality look than before, the refreshed interior of the SLC is one of the nicest cabins in its segment. It also features more ways to personalize than ever before. Take our Tester for example. It's equipped with pretty much every option available, including Bengal red Napa leather upholstery and black ash wood. It's a wonderful example of the attention to detail that you'd expect from a Mercedes product. Anyone already familiar with third-generation SLKs will instantly recognize the dash and center console layout of the SLC, as it, for the most part, carries over unchanged. Updated elements include the new 3-spoke multifunction steering wheel and restyled instrument cluster, as well as a larger screen for the infotainment system and, if equipped, an extended use of ambient illumination. On entry models, MB Tech's synthetic leather wraps the seats and portions of the door panels. Leather is optional, but for the softest, most supple-feeling material, the Napa option is the way to go. Available in 4 color themes, including a couple of 2-tone options, it adds an extra degree of luxury and detail with accent piping, smooth texture, and sporty rid portions. Both the driver and passenger feature an array of power adjustments, including 4-way power lumbar and memory settings. The steering wheel is power tilting telescoping. The seats are on the firm side and offer good lateral support up top and down below with a flared upper backrest. In addition to heated seats, this one also features the optional air scarf system, which consists of 2 vents at the base of the headrest. They blow warm air on the back of your neck so you can drive with the top down in colder weather and be more comfortable. As you would expect for something of this size, storage space is pretty limited, but what space was available was utilized pretty well, I think. You have pockets across the door panels, you have a little bit of center console space, and even a little pocket between the seats. On the passenger side is a locking glove box with a damped lid. It's illuminated, lined in soft material, and has a pretty decent amount of space for both the owner's manual and some other smaller items. As far as safety, the SLC features driver and passenger knee airbags, dual-stage front airbags, dual torso-level side impact airbags, and head-level airbags that offer protection even if the hardtop and side windows are lowered. On top of that, there's a plethora of electronic safety systems such as pre-safe and attention assist. We've talked about that in prior videos, not to mention optional features like blind spot monitoring and lane keeping assist. Easily one of the coolest features is the magic sky control roof system. By the touch of a button, you can lighten or darken the glass if you wanted more light to come in or not. LED accent lighting and general illumination can be found throughout the interior. An 8-speaker audio system comes standard, but this one's equipped with the optional 11-speaker 500-watt Harman Kardon surround sound system. It's all routed through the Mercedes command system that's primarily controlled via a small rotary dial in the center console. In the center stack, alongside your CD player and SD card slot, there's a bunch of shortcut keys, a dialing pad that you can use for a telephone, or memory presets for the audio system, but it's a pretty simple system overall. It's a 7-inch color display. Bluetooth streaming and navigation is standard, but some of the optional features include Apple CarPlay, an in-car Wi-Fi hotspot, and Sirius XM satellite radio. So now let's go ahead and shut her down. We'll head towards the rear and check out trunk space. The SLC doesn't have a ton of cargo space, but you wouldn't really expect it for something of this class. Out back, it's a total of 10.1 cubic feet, but that's when the top is up and in place. When you have it down, you have that partition down, it shrinks to 6.4 cubic feet. It's still decently usable, especially as a weekend grocery getter. With everything out of the way, it also gives you a really good view of the extremely complicated electro-hydraulic top mechanism, just in really impressive engineering. When you pull out the trunk floor, it also reveals your temporary spare tire. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2017 Mercedes-Benz SLC300. Be sure to stay tuned next time, subscribe today, there's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.